Hello and welcome back to Jules Math Tools. In our session today, we are learning how to convert our mixed fraction into words. So if you're ready, let's get started. So in our examples today, we are learning how we can convert our mixed fraction into words. Now, before I dive into how to change our mixed fractions into words, I'm just going to do a quick recap on how we change fractions in general into words. So remember that when you are converting fraction into words, we use ordinal numbers, what are known as positional numbers, or numbers that we use to rank items. So these are words such as first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, and so on. And whenever we use these words to convert our fractions into words, remember that your numerator is written as is. That number does not change, but we use the ordinal numbers in our denominator. And then in the answer or in our final step, we combine both of these parts together where our numerator, which is written as is followed by our ordinal numbers. Now we're going to pretty much be using these same steps to change our mixed fractions into words. And to do that, remember that a mixed fraction is a fraction that has a whole number part to it as well. Now, what happens when we have this whole number part is that you must remember that with a mixed fraction, the whole number is being added to the fractional part of your number. Now, whenever you are changing your mixed fraction to words, you still are going to follow the same steps that you would have done for the fraction, where the numerator will be written as is and the denominator will use the ordinal numbers. However, you must remember that when you are writing both the whole number and the fractional part of your number, there is a final step that you need to do. You will write the whole number back first, and between the whole number and the fractional part of the number, instead of putting that plus sign that I have there, we're going to use a keyword that we call and. So and is written in to separate your whole number from the fractional part of your number. So in your final step, we'll write our whole number, use and in between the whole number and the fractional part of our number, and then we will write our numerator and denominator with this ordinal form back together. So let's get some practicing with this type of fraction. So we have our first fraction that we are going to begin by first separating the two parts of our fraction. I remember that as you practice this step, as you get better, you won't even need to use it. So we have our 4 that's being added to the fractional part of our fraction. So remember that to write this in words, I'm writing back 4. And instead of using that plus sign, I'm now going to write the word and. And for our fraction part, just in case you may have forgotten, remember that our numerator is written as is, so the number 1 is written in. And in the denominator, you can use second. But when it comes to 2 as relates to fractions, the word that I know you most commonly hear used is going to be half. So with fractions, even though second can be used, when we think of second, we usually think about time and races, but we don't necessarily think about half, or we don't think about 2. But with fractions, the word that you mainly hear when it comes to 2 being in the denominator is half. So we're going to now write this fraction back as it should be when we combine this with our answer. So we'll have 1/2, and so we have our 4 and 1/2. So remember that that plus sign is replaced with and. The whole number is written back as 4. And we make sure that we follow the steps that we learned in the first video of how we converted our fractional part of our number into words. So let's try a next example. Feel free at this point to pause the video, convert your mixed fraction into words, then you can unpause it and see if you and I got the exact same answer. Okay, so let's get started. So in our first step, we're going to separate our whole number part, separate our fractional part, and I'm going to change my fractional part into its word form first. So our 3 will be written back in the numerator. Our 7, and we know that when we are erasing, our ordinal number is 7th. So that's 7 with the th at the end. And then our final form for this number would be 3 sevens. So now let's put these numbers together. So we have our 5 and replaces our plus sign, and we put back our 3 sevens. Okay, so there you have it. We just learned how we can convert our mixed fraction into word forms. And remember that as you practice doing these little steps, you'll find that in no time you won't even have to go through this whole step where I put 5 plus 3 7. You'll just be going straight to writing your answers and straight to changing your mixed fraction into words. So make sure to get some additional practice in, and we'll see you right here in the next video on Jules Math Tools, where we make math easy.